All right, so for the even, odd, and neither questions, technically the definition says you're supposed to go through f of x, f of negative x, and negative f of x, see what's equal, what's not equal. Now, in college algebra, we're really just focusing on polynomials for the definition of even, odd, and neither. And for polynomials, you can generalize this definition to really be characterized based off of what type of exponent you have. So for polynomials, if you have an even function, you will only have even exponents and standalone constants. If you have an odd function, you will have only odd exponents and no constants. And do be careful about this one, because when you look at x to the fifth plus 3, you kind of see that and you're like, it's all odd numbers, we're good to go. But remember that x to the 0 is equal to 1. So if I have to force the issue of putting an exponent on 3, I'm not going to write it as 3x to the first. I'm going to write it as 3x to the 0. And now if I write it as 3x to the 0, then actually this 3, even though it's an odd number, this 3 has an even exponent. And so therefore the x to the fifth plus 3 has a mix of exponents, and so that would actually be a neither function. So basically with the polynomials, if you just keep in mind that a constant is really an x to the 0, that will kind of guide you towards figuring out what type of function you have. And then a neither function will be a mix of exponents. So if you look at, for example, number 31, you have x to the fourth minus 3x squared minus 5. And again, you've got to put an exponent on everything. So if this 5 has to have an exponent, then it's going to be an x to the 0. And when you look at all of these exponents, you have all even exponents, so this would be an even function. Okay? Now, if you look at number 32, in contrast to that, you have negative 6x cubed plus 5x. Here again, if you have to put an exponent on everything, you would have a 3, you would have an x to the first. Everything has an odd exponent, so that would be an odd function. And then finally, if you look at 33, you see that there you have 3x cubed minus 2x squared, and then minus 4. And again, if you have to put an exponent on something, this 4 is going to be x to the 0. And now you definitely have a mix of even and odd function, or even and odd exponents, and so this would be a neither function. So when you're dealing with polynomials, you really can just deal with what type of exponent there is, and if you force the issue of everything has to have an exponent, including constants, then that will guide you towards what type of function you're looking at.